Hello guys and welcome back to my channel for another episode of Started from the Bottom. We have received the most transfer money for the club in one transfer window. We're promoted out of League One, we're Leasing.com trophy holders, and we are ready to take on the Championship. Let's get into it and I'll catch you up on our summer of transfers. Okay then guys, so starting things off, you will be able to see that our overall club balance is just shy of £8 million. Yes, it's been an amazing summer. We've let a couple of players go, I'll get into that in a second. And we spent a decent chunk of money, more than our budget would have allowed us. As you can see, we've still got 600k of our transfer budget, and I think we've currently got 36,000 of wage budget to play with as well. Decent amount of scouting budget. So it'll be interesting to see what we can do with the rest of that, if we do anything with the rest of that. The summer transfer window even is closed. So it'll be interesting to see what we do with it in January. We do have a player joining us in January, but I will go over that in a second. So let's start off with the players that have left us. So kicking things off, the first player that has left us, sadly, is Connor Stanley. He's done really well for us. He's been an absolutely fantastic servant. If we check his career history, he joined us there as we were going into the National League. 35 appearances in one season. Oh no, that's just in the league. 49 appearances in that first season, 34 in the second, and quite a lot of sub appearances last year before joining Championship side Ipswich for 425,000. I am quite disappointed that he's gone. I know it was my decision to sell him, and we have upgraded in that position. But it's just difficult to see one of your guys who you've had for a couple of divisions just leave you for another team. Granted, as I said, it was my decision to sell him. He is a good player, but I definitely think he's not going to be one of the top wingers in the Championship. He's just not. Just you wait until you see who I've replaced him with. So the next player who has left us is new gen Daniel Ray. He'd only joined us the season before from the New Saints. We got him for free at the end of his contract, obviously. He looks like he was part of the first new gen batch in the game. So we signed him for free and sold him to Premier League Sheffield United for £4.3 million. The bids kept coming in for him. I think it was between Sheffield United, Leeds and Norwich, and they just kept offering, they just kept moving slightly above each other. And at the end of the day, Sheffield United offered the most money. So 4.3 million for Daniel Ray. It's a shame. He is a very good player, but it's one of those things that you can't, I find it difficult that at the moment we're obviously in the Championship, letting a youngster go to the Premier League. I'm okay with it. It's difficult to stand in their way for it. I didn't want him to become disgruntled, so we let him leave. I think we did pretty well for it. As you can see, he's valued at 2.2 million there, and they paid 4.3 million for him. So I'm happy with the business. We've done pretty well to replace him as well. He was only with us for one season. How did he get on last season? Let's have a quick little jump in. So last season, 45 appearances all told, 11 goals, 5 of which were penalties, 3 assists, 3 players of the match. He did well. He did really well. It was really solid for us. As you can see in the bottom right, overall last season he averaged a 7.32, which is not to be sniffed at. But when Premier League money comes in, 4.3 million, it's not necessarily a fee that Bath have ever received anything close of. I think we broke the transfer record for fee received 3 times in oh no, we wouldn't have done. We definitely broken it twice. We broken it with Daniel Ray, and then on to the next one. The big money earner was, we have sold striker Jay McDonald. Yeah, I was quite stunned with this. Norwich came in and I think they offered initially somewhere around the 3.5 million mark. And I just chanced my arm. I was like, how about you give me a lot more money for him? And Norwich obliged and paid me 8.75 million for his services. He's 20. He's gone into their under 23s, basically the same as Madison. But Madison caused a lot more disruption to my team. So we bought him for 30.5k compensation last year. played 33 times in the league. So in all competitions, I mean, he only made 15 starts. 15 starts, 24 sub appearances. He scored 11 goals, which is not too bad. 2 players of the match. Average rating in all competitions 6.86. Norwich must see something in him. Must be some potential that they see in him. Maybe he can make an appearance for them in the Premier League, or he'll play in the Carabao Cup or stuff like that. I don't really know, but Jay McDonald has left. As you can see, valued at 4.9 million there because he is in the Premiership and he is on a decent contract. That's much more than what we were paying him. Am I sad to see him go? Not really. I was always looking to bring in a striker to replace Andy White, who we had on loan from Arsenal last season. Obviously, I wasn't going to make that loan move permanent, and I wasn't fully impressed with him. Granted, he was our top goal scorer, but with the amount of goals we score in the league, or with the amount of goals we score in general, you'd imagine that he would bring in a higher return than he did. He was our club top goal scorer, but at the end of the day, I still felt we needed to strengthen in that position. So Jay McDonald was only ever going to be a backup for me in the Championship. So to come in and sell him for over 8 million, I think is just incredible. So we're going to start off with the players with the players that my head of youth development has brought in to bolster the under 23s. We're going to start with this fullback here, Dwight Akua. That's what I'm going to go for. He is wanted. I'm happy to let some of these guys go out on loan, to be perfectly honest. He shows a little bit of potential. He's been released by Watford previously and then has gone to Ebbsfleet and played a season at Ebbsfleet. He looks like an all right player, valued at just under 13k. He seems okay. He's nothing spectacular. Obviously, he's not going to get in the first team, but now we are in an under-23s league. I want the under-23s to start doing quite well, so I'm going to try and focus on some of these youngsters as well. And when a youngster pops up that is at the end of their contract, I may look at bringing them in, as you will see with some of these people that I have already brought in this summer. Next up is another centre midfielder for the under-23s, and that is Stephen Finn. He came in from Leeds, was released by Leeds. I think he's a solid enough player for the under-23s. I don't think he's anything too spectacular. He is wanted. He is loan listed. Kingstonian do want him. I've just offered him out to a number of clubs as well. Yeah, okay, he's not got the greatest potential, but once you take a look at some of the players in our starting 11 that these players are graded by, you can see why he's only currently rated at 2 stars. There are some incredible players in our starting 11 now. Next up is attacking midfielder Patrick Marth. I bought this guy for the under-23s, but I definitely think he could do a job in our first team should he be required. I think he's a little bit better than like the likes of Santana and potentially McGee already, and he's only 18 years old. Love the bald head for an 18-year-old. Big fan of that. Advanced playmaker. As I said, he's come in on the end of his contract. It was released by Wuppertaler regional division team in Germany. He looks solid, decent first touch, nice free kick taking, good passing, good technique. So he has room to grow, but he will be in the under-23s unless a massive injury crisis does hit us. And now we have a striker to bolster the under-23s. We have Ewan Pollock, who was released by Bournemouth. Again, he is wanted. Leamington want him on loan. I'm more than happy for him to go, to be perfectly honest. As I said, I want to grow this under-23 squad, and I'm wanting to give a few opportunities to some of these younger players. And that's kind of what I've done here with Ewan Pollock. Some of these people are suggested by my head of youth development. Some people I just found that are quite young and have relatively decent stats, so it's worth a punt on them for a small amount of wage. And this guy's on £575 a week. So in the grand scheme of things, I think he's worth taking a punt on. And the last player for the under-23s is Adam McFarlane. I must admit, I didn't notice that this one had gone through. The under-23s head of youth development, signing players for my under-23s. Didn't notice that this one had gone through because looking at him, he is not that impressive. Especially as we are now a championship club with aspirations of the Premier League. Yeah, forgot that this happened. He's also a centre-back who can play roughly as a striker, which, yeah, baffles me a little bit. But now let's get into the players that are in for the first team. Okay, kicking things off with Samuel Azevedo. He has joined us from Palmeiras in Portugal. As you can see, his stats are phenomenal. Box-to-box midfielder. This is one of the guys that I've brought in to replace Ray, actually, even though I let Ray go after I brought this guy in just because I thought he was just too good to turn down, to be perfectly honest. A natural in the centre midfield spot, but can also play in the attacking midfield spot. So he is perfect for me, really. Really happy with him. He popped up in my social feed that Preston were about to offer him a contract. And I just jumped in there and stole it. Left-footed, fairly ambitious, so he probably will leave me sooner or later if he has a good season. But yeah, some of the stuff he has been working on, I've been working on his like final third. So his first touch has been going up, his passing is good, his technique's going up as well. Really nice teamwork, good composure, good stamina. He's not got good jumping reach or good heading or good long throws or leadership. Leadership at one is pretty good. Big fan of that. But yeah, so he's not that type of player for me. He's my central midfielder. He's listed as a box-to-box midfielder, but he can play the deep line playmaker, which is what I want him to play, really. His passing is not phenomenal enough, hence why I'm working on it. I got him in quite early, so I've been able to work with him for a decent amount. He's made one appearance for me so far in the Championship. It was a sub-appearance, and he scored. So I'm just going to leave it there. I don't necessarily think he's prime, but he's only 20 years old, so he could get better. He's capped at under 19 level. Rated currently at 3.5 stars, and I can't see the others because I'm using the black FM skin here. Let's have a look and see. Yeah, so he's got 4-star potential, so it's not too bad at all. I think he's pretty good on the whole. So that is Samuel Azevedo. Now, whilst I'm going to talk about some of these players now, I will give a massive shout out to the guys at FM Scout. They put out two videos more recently talking about clubs that have phenomenal academies and youth recruitment. So they bring in the really, really good quality new gens. And this is where I found some of these players from. So I'm going to leave a card that's going to pop out in a second with thanks to FM Scout. They were great in helping me find some of these players, especially this goalkeeper here, Noel Beatty, the Ivorian. He's 19 years old. He's capped at senior level for the Ivory Coast. Comes in, can play sweeper, keeper, or keeper. And if you look at him, he is just unbelievable. Really good handling, pretty good one-on-ones at 15 as well, and decent reflexes. He's good at rushing out. He's got good throw in. His first touch isn't necessarily there. He's not eccentric, which is good. I don't like eccentric goalkeepers. He doesn't punch too much. But as far as, like the flair, the leadership, the off the ball, I just don't care. He's got good anticipation, good concentration, good positioning, which are the mental attributes that I want in my goalkeeper. Pretty decent physicals as well. Obviously, it's an upgrade on the German goalkeeper that I had last year, and obviously Smithies. This guy is coming in. He's going to be my number one. He has conceded 2 goals in one game, but I'll show you that later. It was a tough fought game against Charlton in the league. But at 19 years old, he's my starting goalkeeper. As you can see from his attribute graph on the right-hand side, he looks great. He's got 8 pros according to my coaches and 1 con. What is his con? Find it hard to develop it into the core group. He's a new signing, so once the welcoming period is over, I'm hoping that will change. So then he's a big part of the team. He's on a big contract, but he's my starting choice goalkeeper, and hopefully he's here for quite a while. He's determined. He's not necessarily ambitious, so I'm hoping that he may stick around a little bit longer than Madison did. Oh, and I didn't pay a great deal for him either. Obviously, coming from ASEC Mimosas, which are a Premier Division team in the Ivory Coast. As I mentioned, this club were on the list that FM Scout put out, and for instance, look at this guy as well. For 17 years old, centre-back, not too bad at all. Someone that I would love to scout, but he is currently outside of my scouting scope, and he's only on £100 a week. Capped at the under 21 level for the under 20 level, for the Ivory Coast, and he's only 17. So I definitely check out that video from FM Scout, but also check out some of these teams as well, because that's where I got this goalkeeper from, and I only paid 90,000 for him. So yeah, can't complain. That's my goalkeeper position sorted, hopefully. Next up is the player to replace Stanley, and it is Matthias Bilbao. Again, he has come from Velez. So this guy's come from Velez, and which is another club in the FM Scout video. And I need to show you this club, which I will do in a second once I've gone over Bilbao. But this guy is unreal. Look at his dribbling, crossing. He's got much better first touch, better finishing, really good passing, really good technique, good off the ball, decent flair. He's got good agility, good acceleration, really good pace as well. He's got 5-star potential ability, currently 4-star ability, which is good, especially in this this team that I've got here. He's made 1 appearance for me so far in the league and got 1 assist, 7.5 rating, paid 350k for him. So I sold Stanley for more money than this guy. But have a look at Velez, man. Some of the players that they've got in this team, if I just jump into their senior squad, as you can see, I've already got 3 of them on my scouting list. Just look at this goalkeeper. This goalkeeper's unreal. I tried to sign him, but they wanted quite a lot of money for him, hence why I settled for the Ivorian. But this club, they just produce so many good youngsters. I mean, look at this guy as well. For an attacking midfielder, Elias Cabrera. Good dribbling, good passing, really nice determination, good vision, really nice physical attributes in terms of pace. Yeah, okay, he's got a little bit of work to do, but, he's only 20 years old. He's valued at 1.1 million. Like, he's a really good player. Really good. And they just keep producing these guys. Let's take a look at Victor Brito, the centre midfielder. Another central midfielder, really good first touch, good heading, passing. His 18 technique means his passing stat will improve. He's almost got double digits for everything in terms of mental attributes. He does have double digit everything in terms of physical attributes as well. Just look at his diagram, man. They're some of these players at this club, they're just ridiculous. So go and have a look at Velez. They're in the Argentine Premier League. Obviously, I do have every Argentine player loaded up in my database. So maybe you may have to do that. But yeah, definitely look at Velez, because if you go into their overview and look at their facilities, they have exceptional youth recruitment and superb youth facilities. This is what they mentioned in the FM Scout video. And those guys aren't wrong. They produce some insane youngsters. Next up, we have left midfielder Phil O'Neill, who has joined us from Fulham. He's an inverted winger. He is right-footed, but plays on the left-hand side. Really good stats on the guy here. Big fan of his. He left Fulham for some unknown reason. I don't know why. It was a free transfer the season after they bought him from Watford, so I'm not really sure as to why that was. But I saw him when you get the mail through in your inbox and it's like, oh, clubs in England release players. I always look at Fulham because they usually produce some good youngsters, and Phil O'Neill was in there. Really good player, 1 appearance, 1 goal for me so far. Nice stats, a definite upgrade on Johnny Smith in that position. Obviously, Ollie Young has gone back to Manchester City. I won't be looking at picking him up again, obviously, because I was able to bring in Phil O'Neill from Fulham. Next up is another new gen, and this is Christian Muzo, a 19-year-old Argentinian who's coming from San Lorenzo, another team on that FM Scout video. And just look at this guy. For 19 years old, he's just phenomenal all across the board, is doing really well. Box-to-box midfielder, can kind of play the deep line playmaker, is where I'm going to actually train him. Tireless midfielder, comes deep to get the ball and dictates the tempo as well, which is perfect. That's just what you want, isn't it? Really good determination, good teamwork, really nice work rate for a central midfielder as well. Really impressed with him so far. He's done really well in the preseason games with a 7.3, and he's got an 8.4 in the championship with 1 goal assist in his 1 appearance. As you can see, some of these guys really got in on the action against Charlton, so we'll go over that in a second. It wouldn't be a season at Bath City if I didn't bring in a youngster from my senior affiliate, and that is where Sean Musselwhite comes in. Really nice player, can play that central attacking midfield role just how I want him to. Nice first touch, good passing, good technique as well. Really nice teamwork and vision, good composure in the final third as well. Tries the killer balls, which is nice. Hopefully he can feed my striker. I think he's a bit of an upgrade on White in a position that I needed to improve on. Really good. Hopefully he kicks on. Didn't necessarily set the world alight in his first appearance, but he isn't fully match fit, I don't think. Oh, he is. Oh, he's matched up. Oh, interesting. Maybe he just didn't perform as well as I wanted him to do against Charlton, or got outshone by some of the other players in this team. But yeah, lone midfielder. He was listed as a loan from the senior affiliate, so I thought, why pull him in? So next up is Leon here. Is coming from Belgium. He has left Club Bruges. He's 19 years old. He's a striker. I basically used some of the money from selling McDonald to buy this guy. I think he looks better than McDonald, if you ask me. He's got nice balance, nice acceleration as well. 6 foot, so he's not necessarily as tall as McDonald. but possesses a lot more of the stats that I look for in my forwards. For an advanced forward, which he can play really well, he's got good dribbling, really nice finishing, decent enough composure for a 19-year-old. This sort of stuff can be worked on. I'm currently working on him to try and be able to place his shots as well. Left-footed, good spirits, promising striker. His graph looks really good as well. He is our sub option as a 19-year-old. Yeah, I know I'm paying him 5.5k a week, but just you wait till you see the guy who's leading our line. He's just unreal. Oh, and yeah. So before I carry on, so he come in as a new gen from Club Brugge. He's made one appearance for them and scored, which, is pretty good. And then we paid 800k for his services. I don't think there's any add-ons. No, there's not any add-ons, so that's good. So we paid 800k for Leon. And now we move on to the jewel in the Bath City crown. It is Marvin Burke. This guy is coming in on loan from Bayern Munich. He is just exceptional. Like, he's got 14 pros, for God's sake. Plays the advanced forward perfectly for me. Really nice dribbling, good finishing, good first touch, good passing, and really nice technique as well. Good composure at 13, good off the ball, good, decent enough anticipation. I'd like that to be a little bit higher, but he is only 18 years old. Really nice work rate. Good physicals as well, 5'10". He's either footed as well, which is perfect for a striker. He's got the perfectionist personality, which again is brilliant. He cuts in from the right wing, and he already has the trait of places shots. I'm paying 100% of his wages. It's 7,500 a week. But for the Championship, I don't think that's an exorbitant amount of money. He's valued at £1.7 million. He's on loan from Bayern Munich for the whole season. He's got 1 goal and 1 assist in his Championship debut. He's also playing in the Under-20 World Cup for Germany as well. So I think that was over the summer, and has done pretty well for us in pre-season, but pre-season is pre-season. So yeah, he's coming on loan. He's been unreal and looks unreal. I just hope he doesn't get injured this season, because I think he could get 25, 30 goals this season easily. So summing things up quickly then, guys, we received £13.5 million for players going out, and we spent a total of 1.6 million bolstering our squad with the fees coming here. Obviously, we've got a couple of loans. So Club Brugge got 800k for Leon, San Lorenzo 400k for Muzzo, Bilbao cost 350k, and then Bailey, the goalkeeper, cost 90k. Everyone else was free, or the last two, the guy on loan from Arsenal, and obviously Burke on loan from Bayern Munich. I think we've done pretty well. So obviously that's why the finances sit just shy of 8 million. In the club vision, you can see here I have recently asked for them to improve the youth facilities, so that is going on as well, and then we will jump into the schedule. Pre-season was pretty good. I rammed as many games in here as I possibly could without killing the team. So we played Celtic, Bournemouth, Arsenal, Newcastle, US Orléans from France, West Brom, Cheltenham, Norwich, and FC Lorient as well from France. We won all of those games except from the game against Arsenal, which we we lost 1-0, with Lacazette scoring in the 87th minute. I don't think that's too bad. I was quite happy with that. So yeah, it was really strong pre-season. Blew out quite a lot of decent teams as well. I beat Celtic 2-0, beat Bournemouth 2-0, Newcastle 4-1. I think Newcastle in the Championship. Newcastle are in the Championship. Beat West Brom as well. Beat Cheltenham. Beat Norwich. Marvin Burke scoring 3 in that game by the looks of things. Yeah. So, and then that took us into our first game of the season against Charlton, who obviously were promoted with us. For those who were wondering who got promoted in the playoffs, it was Hull. Hull got promoted in the playoffs. Let's take a look at their last game of the season. They beat Preston 1-0. Just goal in the first half, 1-0. So Preston really bottled it at the end of last season. Really bottled it. They lost to me in the Leeson.com. They conceded a 91st minute goal to go into the playoffs. Made it all the way to Wembley and then lost again. So not great for Preston North End. So back into my schedule, we took on Charlton in the first game of the season and we beat them 4-2 at the Valley. Johnny Williams with 2 really nice goals for Charlton. But for us, goals from Christian Muzzo, Marvin Burke, Phil O'Neill, and Samuel Azevedo. So 4 new signings getting in on the action there. I say new signings, most of this team is new signings apart from the defence, to be perfectly honest. So it's going pretty well. Really happy with how the team's looking. I had to play them. I had to play Charlton. I just couldn't wait. I wanted to see how the team was getting on. And yeah, absolutely brilliant so far. Let's get into the game that I am going to play today, which is at home against Nottingham Forest. Okay, guys, so we are ready to take on Nottingham Forest in Twerton's first outing in the Championship. And this is the starting 11 that we will be running. We got Beatty in goal, Wink, Denham, Menji and DeMarco at the back, Bilbao, Muzo and O'Neill across the midfield 3, Azevedo and Musselwhite in the attacking midfield spots, and then the main man Marvin Burke up front. Obviously on the bench we've got Smithies, Pitalis, Dreher, Leon, Mitch Clark, Ross Cleverley. Yeah, it is Ross Cleverley, who's my youngster who fills my quota for homegrown, club-grown players. He's just on the bench to fit the quota. And then Charlie Wellens is also on the bench. So that's the team. Let's click submit. Let's take on Nottingham Forest. So here we go then. This is Twerton Park's first appearance in the Championship. We have the first highlight of the game. DeMarco with the long throw into Azevedo, looking to make things happen in the central attacking midfield spots. Looks towards Burke, but the pass is under hit and Forest are able to clear. I did notice before this game started that Forest are currently top of the league. As Bilbao advances into the penalty area, strikes it, and the post denies him, but Sean Musselwhite's there to tap home. Good start, really good start. Can't argue with that. I mean, I don't understand why Bilbao went for the shot there. He does really well here to go past the fullback. Beats him once, pushes him down to the byline, goes past the central back. Goalkeeper's nowhere to be seen. And then the rebound, luckily, just falls to Musselwhite, who just tapped home. Simple finish. 1-0 up. 1-0 Bath City. Okay, next highlight of the game comes from the left back. Throw in again, DeMarco into Muzzo, who advances into the centre midfield after going around the referee, out to Bilbao on this right hand side. Powers forward, edge of the penalty area and strikes it, but that is no good. Really wayward shot there from the winger. Highlight for Forest here. Throw-in comes in. Back to Yates on the edge of the penalty area, cross it into the centre. We're putting some good pressure on here. Bilbao can nick this, we could be away, but they go out to the fullback. A nice spell of possession here from Forest, actually, who are probably one of the better teams in the Championship, you would have thought. They mess up. We are able to get the ball, sprayed it over the top to Burke. Here comes Burke into the penalty area. Marvin Burke on his left. Second goal of the season. Thank you, Bayern Munich. Thank you. If we get into the Prem, I may even try and buy him. But yeah, Azevedo here. Back to Muzzo. Look at that long killer ball. Good run from Burke, keeping himself onside. Calm finish through the goalkeeper. 2-0 Bath City. Oh God, highlight comes straight from kickoff here. Forest are playing with it. Muzzo intercepts into Azevedo, out to Bilbao. He runs again, turns a fullback inside out, puts the ball across. I'd like to think he's going to go for a cross there, but I think that was a shot. Bilbao is absolutely tearing their left back Riviero apart here. And we're only half an hour in. We're 2-0 up. We're kind of coasting. Obviously, you know, Forest were top of the league going into this game, but you know, only one game had been played, so you don't take too much of pre-season form, you know, early season form into account when you get to this sort of thing. You know, two games into the season. That looks like that is half time then. But yeah, half time. We're 2-0 up. Musselwhite and Burke with the goals. We're dominating them in shots. They've, you know, almost had the same amount of shots on target. We're doing pretty well in the possession with 57% of the possession. Yeah, happy with how the team's playing. Burke's on the score sheet again. Who's surprised? Not me. He is class. Very happy with the way things go, and lads, keep it up. That's all I need to say. Well done. Doing well. Carry on. Another throw in there into Burke. Azevedo's there. I kind of want Burke a bit more central. Muzzo running. Opts to go all the way back to Denham, who opts to go all the way back to the goalkeeper. It'd be nice for him to have a touch of the ball at his feet. Picks out Azevedo into Muzzo, into Musselwhite, and here's where we move. Out to Bilbao, goes past the fullback again. Bilbao strikes, but Samba is able to stop this one as straight at him. Here come Forest then. Oh no, they're instantly stopped by Bilbao. Looks for the ball over the top and Burke's there. It's a difficult position. Goes past the defender, holds it back, cuts it back. Oh, what a strike that is. Probably should be scoring that, but that's a really good save from the Forest goalkeeper. But the highlight continues for the corner. Wink whips it in, and Forest look like they're able to clear, but only to Bilbao, and that is the highlight over on that occasion. Musselwhite picks up a booking, I've just noticed there. Here come Forest. I'd like a clean sheet, but, you know, they've got the overlap on this side. The marker goes to the challenge, but misses. Good strike, and it comes back off the post. I'd like to think that the keeper, Beatty, had that covered if it were on target. He seemed to be in the right position there. Might look at making a change. I want to keep Burke as fresh as humanly possible, so let's jump into the tactics. Let's bring on Big Leon. Let's give Charlie Wellens a run out for Azevedo. Actually, no, let's bring Wellens on for Musselwhite as he's already been booked, and Dreher can come on. But Muzzo, team's playing pretty well. Actually, Bilbao's... yeah, Bilbao's pretty tired. Let's bring on Mitch Clark. You know, he can... enough. Or it'll be fine. You know, this is just the last 12 minutes of the game. We're trying to keep everyone fresh. Like they're trying to send in low crosses. I mean, we're going to be equal to those, I'd imagine, like to think. I'm really happy, really happy with this team now. Now we've got a good goalkeeper. We've definitely strengthened in the right areas. Obviously, the players that we did lose, I feel I've replaced them with better players. As Leon's in here, into the penalty area, cuts it back to Clark, who strikes Mitch Clark. For all the efforts that Bilbao's had this game, it's Mitch Clark who thumps it in. The right back on the score sheet there, putting us 3-0 up. Fans at Twerton are in raptures. I imagine the stadium's packed. It looked pretty busy. Leon does well here, wins the ball. It's a kind of 50-50. Then he does the right thing, cuts it back to Clark, who's there to just hammer it into the side netting. Really good finish from Mitch Clark, who is actually a defender. Another highlight here. Clark whips the ball in. And it's a penalty. It says there that Wink was going to take it. Did I manage to change it in enough time? I don't think I did. So to make it 4 then, the Brazilian centre mid / right back, Wink, steps up and his penalty is saved. I was probably going to give it to Leon, but it doesn't matter. It's 3-0. And, you know, there's a corner coming in with 9 seconds of the game left. I mean, is this really needed? Corner swung in. We're able to clear. Azevedo's on the break. We've got a man free in the middle if he can find him. Holds the ball. Gives it to Muzzo. He goes all the way back to Denham, who goes all the way back to the goalkeeper. We'll have full time there, ref. And that is full time, 3-0. Nice, comfortable 3-0. Hey, who would have thought it? This team's doing really well. I'm very pleased with them, very happy with that. We kept a clean sheet in that game as well. It's important, having conceded 2 to Charlton. Let's see what that does for the league. We are top with a number of other teams, Sunderland, Birmingham, Portsmouth and Middlesbrough, all on 6 points. Let's jump into the schedule. I'm going to hammer through some of these games, guys, and I'll bring you back for the game at home against Bristol City at Twerton Park. I hope you enjoyed the video. Obviously, massive shout out to the guys at FM Scout for those clubs that pull in the good youngsters. I've definitely used that this summer. Really pleased with the acquisition of the team, and the team's playing fantastically well in the 2 games so far. So that's it for me, guys. I will see you all tomorrow for another episode of Started from the Bottom. But until then, guys, take care, and I'll see you soon.